All right, all right. Check one, check two. This is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming to you live and direct right here, right now, right in your earphones, right from the internet, coming from Brooklyn, New York. I have a little bit of cannabis, which I've enjoyed a little bit today. And I've also have a nice iced coffee, an afternoon iced coffee, an afternoon delight. This is episode 159. We're getting up there. Think about that. That's a lot of weeks. That's over 2 years. But I heard the magic number is 250. But the numbers are going up, so I want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for listening to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I got a great episode for you today. I'm enjoying some great cannabis. This is garlic cookies. Cookies comes from kind of this diesel family, but it's more of an indica. This is just a great batch, and I have a little bit of CBD that I mixed with it, just so I don't indica out and fall out. But in terms of being calm and cool, it definitely has taken the edge off the times. I don't know if it's the times. How's everybody doing out there? Hanging in there? It feels like we're in February right now. It feels like Omicron, or I don't know. I don't want to talk about it too much, but hopefully I'm feeling April. I'm feeling a really good 420 this year. I just think people are dealing with it. The reality is it is what it is. And, for me, I am on kind of masked up. When I'm outside, I kind of let it fly. If it's a bunch of people, I'll mask up. Still kind of not quarantining, but hiding out a bit. Was lining up people to Zoom on the podcast, but it seems like the podcast industry is blowing up so much. I hate bothering too many people, so I bothered a few super interesting people to be on the podcast. But my timing hasn't been as professional as I would need to. But we'll get some funny out there, cats. And I definitely want to shout out to all the great coffee shops in the world, but especially Brooklyn. I just really Koss Cafe on Fifth Avenue. Check them out. I think it's KOSS. They are amazing. That's where I got this afternoon iced coffee. And I also got a oatmeal pumpkin spice oatmeal cookie. It was amazing. Something about oatmeal cookies just make it it feels healthy. There's something, because like a chocolate chip cookie is just like, oh man, that's chocolate chip. But an oatmeal cookie, I don't know. There's something about oatmeal that is life preserving, life affirming. And it just tastes good. If you haven't had it in a while, if you're always having it, you're like, man, fuck oatmeal. But I guess that's a little bit like everything, except for pizza and weed. I could say something much cruder, but I've evolved a little bit. I'm trying some of this cannabis. Today I did not. Oh man! Wow. Yeah, the garlic cookies. If you ever get a handle on garlic cookies, I recommend it. It's a nice indica, but also happy and not too head trippy, not too racy. But I did mix it with the CBD of the sour diesel, so I got a little of my favorite CBD in there. Like, I do think that's what's so awesome about this podcast is coffee and cannabis. They both can be consumed, and they all are consumed. The thing about coffee and cannabis, like, it's almost once you hit 30s and 40s, it's almost like a given. Like how much coffee. Some people don't like coffee. I mean, it's pretty much kept me running for the last 20 years. I mean, I'm coming on 49 years old. Been doing stand up since I was 27. I'm a little bit over 20 years, man. And I've been pounding coffee and smoking herb the whole time. But even before that, I enjoyed it. I don't know. I think it was right after college. College, I didn't drink coffee, smoked some herb, started off drinking hardcore. And then herb kind of saved me from blowing out my gut too bad. And after college, got back into drinking a little bit more because I hated my job. And then I kind of just like, as soon as I found stand up, doing comedy, stand up comedy, drinking was like, whatever, man. I enjoyed just pursuing the shows, going to the shows, writing the material, figuring it out, hanging out. And during all of that, smoking one hitters and, roasting bowls. That's just how I rolled. That's still how I roll. So welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I'm a stand-up comedian, actor, and sometimes I'm a rapper. Sometimes I bust a few rhymes. I won't on this podcast. Like I've said, I mean, I can freestyle. I'm doing something on 420 that's going to have some freestyle rap. But I definitely am more of, I enjoy making songs. I got a new album out there that's all kind of like my comedy music. And it leans towards hip hop, I guess. It's definitely some rhymes, but it's definitely got its own vibe. Like I just try to make it its own thing, but it's definitely heavily influenced by hip hop and rap. But since I'm older, my influence on hip hop and rap, everybody talks about the 90s, and I listen to a lot of 90s hip hop, but I definitely am like, if you're born in 1972, like my hip hop starts from breakdancing. And that was it, man. My first concert was the Fresh Fest. You can hear it. I tell a story about it on my album that is called Pure Uncut Joy on 800 Pound Gorilla. You can't listen to it on Spotify because they're kind of being tricky, man. I don't know about Spotify. All this stuff going down. I don't know. We still are. The podcast is on Spotify, but my iTunes numbers are a little bit bigger. But yeah, they're kind of fucking around with my podcast. I don't know, man. I'm still up in the air whether to keep my Spotify subscription or not, or even keep my material there. I think with curating like all of your art and all your material, like it's just evolving and everybody's kind of figuring out where it goes. For me, after 20 years, I'm kind of figuring out where I want to go and where my vibe is best suited. But I do know, please like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and Spotify. Yeah. But if you're on iTunes, like and subscribe, write something. Let's pump it up. I enjoy it. If you want to watch this video, you can watch me smoking pot with my friends. But it's all on the Patreon. You have to get on the Patreon, and that's where the dope ass merch that's going to be rolling out. But I'm excited about cannabis and coming out of the pandemic and coffee, because I'd never get sick of it. I enjoy it. I love it. I love doing this podcast. I get better each time. I throw on some funky beats. Maybe I won't do that as much. I thought that might have been a little too much filler, but I got some stuff coming up. I'm working on some beat machines, so I got a pre-order on a really dope groove box that I hope to assimilate into the podcast and just be able to bring out beats. I'm a big fan of what's that? Like the study lo-fi hip hop. Like I definitely dig vibes. I think that's what it is now. Like everybody's looking for more of a chiller vibe. I know with me with the pandemic, like if you listen to this podcast, I'm trying not to talk that much Buddhism or spirituality because I think you need to practice it and not talk it. And but I will say with the pandemic, just learning where my ego is and that kind of monkey mind talking voice and how that isn't really you. I don't know. With meditation, it's just helped me, really look at myself in 360 and who I am and who I really want to be. And as bad as the pandemic was, and it's definitely given me uh 10 years with my family together, and then like it's definitely taught me how to meditate. Like I did 40 minutes. I was doing 40 minutes, and I remember maybe not 5 years ago, I couldn't even picture 5 minutes. I couldn't even think about it. Like I would sit there and try it, and my mind would just be too much racing. And it does it. Like today I didn't meditate. Today my racing mind caught me, and I slid. I didn't, because a lot of it's just the discipline of practicing. But at the same time, you don't want to be so disciplined to practicing where it just becomes mechanical. That's how I'm trying to treat everything in my life. Kind of just go with the flow a little bit more and give up. In the sense of just letting the universe play out a little bit, just putting the attention, what I want, what I think, what I need, what I feel, and then go for that. And I feel like doing this podcast. I feel like drinking more coffee. Feel like checking out all these awesome coffee shops in Brooklyn. Like Conditori is down the street. That's where they got the best iced red eye. I went through an iced red eye phase. I've been into a small. I need to watch how much money I'm spending on coffee, but I did get gifted a ton of really good coffee. And then I've been like doing like small afternoon cups here and there. So it's not like a coffee a day. Let's say I pay for coffee maybe once or twice during the week. And then the rest is like my French press. It's my coffee at home is still, I'm getting to the point where it's just so much better than even most coffee shops. But that's why I do like kind of the iced red eye, and because I don't have an espresso clackety clack 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 boom pop 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 machine. But one day I will. That's that and two turntables, a espresso clackety clack machine, and the ones and twos. So I'm enjoying some great afternoon iced coffee. Dude, shout out to Boba Fett. So I just finished the final episode last night. The series is epic, and it is just so brilliant. I did fall asleep a couple times, but I think it's just like I'm running so hard during the day. I hit a couple one hitters, but I catch up in the morning. So I'll watch it and I get psyched, and then I'll fall asleep a little bit because I think I'm so psyched and I'm so relaxed. I'm so relaxed because I watch it like in bed by myself with the lights off, and I'm just like trying to I get so into it. But this latest one, man, Grogu, my man, because a little Yoda guy. I don't want to put any spoilers out there, but some of the scenes, the action scenes, and I hate violence, and I'm not into guns. I'm kind of playing away from all that, aggro gun shit. But I do like Star Wars for some reason, and I love lasers. I think I don't know, the fantasy of it all. It is a way of getting away from yourself is entertainment, It's all distractions. So you have to pick your distractions. I think that's the name of the game, and why a lot of people are stir crazy too is the media, in terms of the media that you consume and how much you consume. That's what bums me out about like TikTok and Instagram. Like I got Instagram and I do love it. I'll scroll, I'll do the the coffin pose where you lay down and you just scroll with your glasses off and you're just killing your eyes and you're killing your brain with jealousy of other comedians. But you try not to. I mean, I've gotten, that's what I think it's like. There's so much, I don't know. There's just almost too much with social media. Like it makes your brain go, but that's how the kids are thinking these days. But I do think there's a limit, in how to make your brain last longer. Is kind of the angle I'm taking with doing meditation and trying to go inward. Because the outside you cannot control. You can only control the inside in terms of how you feel with it. Because the chaos has always been going down. I remember the 80s, like when I was like in the 5th or 6th grade, thinking about nuclear war. Like it was like on the news all the time. There was movies about it. And you're like, oh man, is there going to be a nuclear war? And war is like the wackest thing. The more we get evolved, I just think aggression, the more evolved we get, the smarter we get. It just gets like, you could just tell, like it doesn't help anything. It just makes the overall situation worse when people are bombing and killing and armies. But Russia and Ukraine, I don't know what's going on. But I don't want to make this podcast a political podcast. I want this to be a good thing that if you want to sip on some coffee, hear some trippy stuff about Boba Fett and music and herb out and coffee. But life is life, and that's what this podcast is also about. So just to bring it on home. We're not conforming, baby. Speaking of, that's kind of what I was watching. There's a great video of one of the bands. I don't know why I key into it, but one of the bands that I think it was like the first time I felt like good punk rock, and I wasn't like a punk rock dude, was listening to that Operation Ivy CD. And it was mostly about the percussion and the beats and the lyrics and the tone. It was just perfect. But I was watching like like they have the dudes coming back together, the band coming back together, and they were doing the song Sound System, which is a ska punk song. Check it out, by Operation Ivy. But they're like a little bit older than I am. They're like in their 50s and they're dads and shit. And just to pull off the punk rock moves, pulling off being a rock star, the older you get, some people could do it gracefully. These dudes did. Punk rock, you could kind of like, punk rock isn't about looking cool. Well, it's kind of, it matters what kind of punk rock you're talking about. Good punk rock is like anti-cool. And that's what makes it cool. But the labeling of things is what makes it whack. I mean, that's where I'm at now, is even with so much drama in the LBC, I do know when I meditate and go back to like the moment and tiny wins, man. I'm all about tiny wins, like building on right now. The only thing was we have this moment now. So you kind of got to let go of before and after and just work on today. That's a great lyric of a Fish song. One of their I've talked about it on the podcast, but yeah, everything's right. Just hold tight. It's a song, everything's all right or something. It's just about living in the moment. I got a little baked there. I was quoting a Fish song that I couldn't remember. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host. But the Boba Fett joint was brilliant. Yeah, I want to watch all 6 of them in a row, but they were like, it's the season finale and it was just to 6. And I was like, man, You stop and I was expecting like a full season to be like 12. 6, but they're so well done, and the final one's at least almost an hour. And yeah, it's brilliant. It's just brilliant. And I can't, and it kind of leads into the Mandalorian. I could watch these things all day. This is my new thing, is really good sci-fi. But they kind of, I don't know, when Boba Fett, when Boba Fett is riding this big fucking monster thing that oh man, his pet, and he's smashing robots at the end. It's the last 20 minutes is literally like a professional wrestling match between like ogre, like King Kong, like no, like just a crazy like beast versus this like insane nuclear robot that just could not be stopped with analog weapons. Man, this thing was on Wi-Fi and everything else. But Star Wars is kind of analog, you know. That's why I liked, like, I could tell like some of the stunts, like they still use puppetry. It's not all like CGI. They still use like models and shit, you know, but they also use the best of the best. It's George Lucas, just wow. One little thing in his other Star Wars, and then his other thing was American Graffiti, which was the exact opposite of Star Wars. Do I have that right? I might. I don't want to make this but I do like good directors. I do see myself directing films and movies. Like I produced, you can check out my YouTube. I produced a short television type show, pilot type web series. Like I guess I've done a lot of those where I've created the whole idea, not the whole. Sometimes I work with partners, but like there's this one I did with Dan Powell that does a lot of stuff with Amy Schumer and Michael Che, and I did that for Bonnaroo, and I'm proud of it. Check it out on my YouTube page, and that's called Universally Speaking with Rob Cantrell. And it's only got 4 episodes, but I wrote them all and casted them all and shot them all. And it's kind of out there. And sometimes you're like, you do these type of things and you're like, is this thing going to end up looking whack? But I look at them and I'm like, it's not whack. Sometimes they are. I'll tell you if it's lame, but that one's good. Well, I won't tell you if it's lame. I'll just try to hide it. Curate. Yeah, the lame ducks. But the sun is out today. It's been like freezing. Like, dude, East Coast, January and February on the East Coast is just like, you just got to take it. That's what it's all about. The little wins, hot showers, hot cups of coffee, bowls of soup, taco night, sledding, good herb. Herb is great for, you know, snowy conditions, for hiding out, for I had to make flyers for this show. Like I made this flyer and I actually am like putting the flyers out places. Like I know everything's like, we got a cool Eventbrite for it too, but this is February 20th. I got a great show. I want everybody, if you can hear this podcast, to come out. February 20th. This is going to be the Sunday night at 8:30 of President Day weekend. This is February 20th. And the lineup, and I'm going to be hosting the night. It's called Rob Cantrell and Super Friends. And the lineup is Joe Pera, Dina Hesham, and Matt Koff. Dina Hesham is a great comedian, very funny. Matt Koff is very fun. Like I haven't performed a lot with these dudes, but and lady, but they are my good friends and I respect them. And it's just a great, cool lineup. And I haven't been doing like any stand-up. Even this week, a couple clubs asked me and I was like, I have been getting used to not performing, but I haven't taken that much time off. And that's what's been good about this podcast. Even doing the solo ones, I love doing it because it helps me. This is like, this is good mic time, stage time. I mean, I don't have an audience, but sometimes with my stand up, I just kind of go with how I feel anyway. I really want to get back to that more out there style, get more out there on Pluto. Yeah, Pluto, that was the first planet that got canceled. Yeah, they canceled its name. They were like, you're no longer called Pluto, you're number. And then everybody's like, nah, man, that shit's Pluto. We're not doing that. I'm not sure if that's somebody else's joke. I wrote that and I just have like my notebook out. So I looked down and I wanted to talk about Pluto. This is another part of my guess. My list is want to talk about Big Jesus. I want to talk about Jesus in my new stand-up, coffee, and dumps, going to bathroom, and granola. That's all. I don't have that many jokes, but those are the 4 concepts that I'm going for on my new stand-up. I mean, I'm excited about doing stand-up. I haven't ever released a proper special. Like I did my own half hour and special. I made a DVD and sold it myself, but that was like in 2005, 2006. And ever since then, I haven't released like a full. I've done 2 full albums, audio albums since then, and I've done a couple late night appearances in like web shows and stuff like that. Billion live shows, so many live shows, and I toured with Tracy Morgan for a year and a half. Like, but I haven't done a proper special, like come out and done a full hour, and that's what I'm doing. 420, I am taping like this 420 special with a smaller set, but coming in the year, hopefully if all this stuff burns out or gets a little bit safer to perform live and I feel comfortable and you feel comfortable and we can come together. The venue I am playing on February 20th for Rob Cantrell and Super Friends is like super vaxxed, super, like they check vax IDs, they wear masks, they're very progressive in terms of being safe, but also doing shows, but doing safe shows. I think there's a way of doing safe shows, and I think we have been going at it and figuring it out. It's just been so complicated, like pointing the finger and judging people right now. There's so much of people doing that for me, it's like, I don't even, I'm just glad I woke up and I'm alive, especially after that Bob Saget, RIP, like, dude, he just banged his head and went out. It can go that simple. That's what's so precious about life is that, it could be just such a simple thing and then it's done, or the day just comes where it's done. And that's a bummer and all that. But so the idea that bummer feeling should bring you to the point that it's like the only moment is now, and just to be kind, nice to you and yourself and everybody else. What's the drama with your mama, man? I need to get a haircut. My hair is gotten so out there, but I got some great eucalyptus shampoo that if you want some good organic shampoo, just look for the good eucalyptus. I just like saying that word. It has such a great ring, eucalyptus, and it has koala-like feelings. I've never been to Australia, and I've always wanted to go to Australia. I'm turning like 49. I'm getting to 50. I got to get these bucket list things out and off and done. But I do like the way of travel these days, like smartphones and hotels. I think hotels and smartphones are getting better in terms of making travel a lot easier. Like I'm not that intimidated, especially after being a comedian. And also just how my family travels and just like, and then when I went around the world in my younger 20s, and I didn't have a cell phone. I went all throughout Southeast Asia for 4 months in 1997, 98, 97. It was 98, 99. And I didn't have a cell phone, just had a backpack and a Yahoo address and a passport and a bunch of money. Not a ton of money, but the thing was in 97, the dollar was booming. So you would go to another country, you could double your money. It was so good. And then you could ball out and get a better hotel. It's all about getting a better hotel. But the problem with hotels is sometimes the best hotels rip you off and you have to pay for water. It's right in the middle. It's right the upper middle. That's always been my goal. I've never wanted, I don't want to say that because I wouldn't mind as much money as I could get, but I don't want to be driven by money. But I just think that my point is I like medium rare, I like medium roast, I like upper medium, class, that's the kind of money I want to make, but do it by doing what I love. Really, I think, the money will come if you just keep on going towards what you love. And I do love doing coffee, drinking coffee, doing this podcast, and smoking good herb. I got my classy one hitter. This is from Marley Naturals. They got it's got a wooden stem. It's I definitely recommend it. And I cleaned it out. It's a great pipe cleaner they're called Zen pipe cleaners, Zen. And they're kind of like those, kind of like what your grandpa pipe would clean, but they work great with glass one hitters. Which is chillum. Is that how you pronounce it? But nature is all around us. I haven't gone for my hike today. All I've gone for is I drank some coffee and then I ate some tacos left over from Taco Tuesday. But it was great. I had rice and beans that were kind of flavored with chicken. Like I had a little bit of chicken left, but I had a bunch of rice and beans. So I mixed that up. But then I had some tortillas that were already toasted, but they were all packaged together, like in the refrigerator. So I just zested them up and then hit them up with some amazing fresh salsa. And they tasted great. Again, I want to make sure it's Littlefield. It's a venue called Littlefield, February 20th. It should be a cool night. Like I'll be hosting, and I know I'm doing a show also on I'm playing with this band on Valentine's Day, and it should be great. And it's a brand new venue, but the Paper Anniversary, which is a great bluegrass band, and I'm doing it with another comedian, Jordan. Jordan Carlos and I, and Paper Anniversary. That's another show that I'm doing on Valentine's Day, but that's just a really short set. February 20th at Littlefield, I'm doing, and I'm hosting, but I'm going to be doing a lot of material kind of off the cuff. I'm going to bring a notebook full of weird shit. It should be a lot of fun. I think that's kind of like the best way to see me is when I'm loose and fun. Some gigs aren't loose and fun. They're like serious. Comedy's like crazy that way. Like the ones that could pay your rent, the gigs that are for real. You got to have your P's and Q's together. Just a steady, when I was headlining, I still headline clubs, but you just got to be a little bit more in tune. And I'm just not there yet again, but these are the type of shows that will help that. I actually just slid onto Instagram and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I got the podcast, baby. The Cannabis Coffee Hour. Yeah, this is garlic cookies. I would recommend this Um, one of my favorite, more like chiller. Like right now, I'm pretty chill. I haven't taken a nap, but I could. But I do have a few things today. Um, but mostly it's all about getting this podcast done. And I had a few guests lined up, but it didn't play out. But it does force me to, do more of the solo. And I get more out of the solo. And I think it's nice when I do a bunch of solos and then a guest, and then I don't end up talking over the guest as much because I get sick of talking. uh, but I today, like, I didn't work out, but the other days I was trying to work out, and I just do my Tibetan stretches. They're called the 5 Tibetan rites. If you want to go check them out. So my new move is before I even smoke pot. Dead sober, try to be. I do the 5 Tibetan rites, which take about like 20 minutes, and then I try to meditate for 40 minutes. And I wasn't making it. I was chickening out like at 35. You can't say chickening, but my mind was racing. And then I had the podcast. I just started it up, and I definitely want to get this going. Like, like and subscribe to this podcast. Because as New York legalizes, I mean, we're going to be all over the place. I love going upstate. Brooklyn loves herb. Queens loves herb. It's all getting legal, but it hasn't been, but it's starting to. And I think there's lessons to be learned from California and Colorado. I hope this new mayor is super smart about it. And the way to be super smart about like solving a problem is collecting all the data, is getting all the information. I've always said, like, with American legalization, they should definitely be just looking at Amsterdam. They have years and years and years of data. Like, look at all the countries and how they handle cannabis, that it actually flows and works, and it's a working part of society. Because in California, like, it's the weed is getting taxed so bad by the federal government or by the California government that the legal market has to sell illegal weed to keep it. Like, it's just too much red tape. Like, they got to simplify it in order to make the market healthy again, because the black market gains more power. I guess that's how that works. Or I've been watching Boba Fett. It's all about like powers and wars and like, but it's done so well. And I'm going to watch it again. I've already watched it 1.5 times, but I'm definitely going to watch it like 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 times. Music wise, let's see. Music wise, what have I been listening to? That's what I wanted to show. A good way of doing that is, I do just pop on YouTube a lot. And does everybody do that? Like, I was thinking of dropping like, if I got rid of my Spotify, like, I do pay for it, but I listen to a lot of stuff just YouTube, Whoa. I don't know if you picked that up, but those are my drums anyway. So I own the rights to that. That's from my song, What I Got, my cover. But Grateful Dead, look at that. I got a Grateful Dead video live, Grateful Dead 3/31, 1987, in Philadelphia, the Spectrum. I do love Philly. I mean, it's tough. The comedy there, like, there's just so many Philly comedians, and it's just not my style. I didn't grow up there, but the town and the vibe and the people are, funny and cool. And it's definitely like, if you like dive bars and like authentic cheesesteaks and shit like that, like, it's definitely authentic and has its own cool vibe. And it's definitely funky and fresh. But Billy Strings, yeah, at the Capitol Theater, that's what I checked out. 2-4. I've been listening to him. Smashing Pumpkins. I'll tell you, one of my favorite songs is Walking in Staten by SNL. Yeah, Pete Davidson. That's a good song, dude. Check it out. The Vines, Get Free. Wow. I do want to do like a DJ session once I get this beat machine, because then I know I own all the beats. The thing is like I try to do a IG live. I try to be DJ D Nice, who I may be able to get on the podcast. I know D Nice, not dropping too many names, but he's a Brooklyn dude, and we've run in a couple same circles. And I've reached out to him early in the podcast, but it was kind of before he super blew up on IG. Ever since he became like the biggest DJ on IG, I don't know, but I'll reach out to him. He's got a great vibe. Nice. Be nice, dude. What was I talking about? Music. Always talking about music. Walking in Staten. I have been enjoying some 311. They got some good songs, and their tour videos are really interesting and cool. And I always like the Black Crows. I'll pump some Black Crows. I'll pump some Clutch. Got a little Dolly Parton. Got a little bit Led Zeppelin. Some Cali vibe, reggae. You know, went into a big stick figure phase there for a while. I still listen to it. I just get songs and I start playing the hell out of them. As you know, like I talked all about Cheap Trick. I think Cheap Trick. I think I played that one so much. I don't know if I'll ever have to play it again. Because I loved it so much, but I still play it. I definitely want to play more guitar myself. In the beginning of this podcast, I would jump on and play really bad guitar, but I don't know. I shouldn't say that because then it could be kind of good. With music and comedy, it's all about like framing it and being confident, but also humble. There's that middle of the road where you're like, well, a lot of that is in the Buddhist meditations that I'm trying to, is like, you want to get to the point where you're like killing your ego, where you can work on the moment, but by being disciplined, you'll actually learn what you're trying to do at such a level that you can move it forward yourself without relying on your fake ass ego. Is kind of the gig. I'm enjoying I'm almost done with this book, Think Like a Monk by Jay Sheedy, but it's pretty good. I recommend it, man. I get something out of it every time I read it. It's funky, it's fresh, it's new. And it's a book, and it will be my first one that I completed. I'm to the last chapter. But I mean, I've read every word, and I got a highlighter and shit. I definitely want to get a little bit more discipline on writing. Like I have like a couple open projects and I'm always tweaking it. And I was getting into journaling for a while. It's just trying to put that time in, you know, and then getting the rhythm going. But I can do it. I've done it with meditation, you know, and I did nail 40 minutes in a row a few times. Then I went back to 20 minutes and it was easy. Not sure if I'm getting enough of the video. I was squirming. I think I've drank a lot of coffee, so I'm squirming a little, and this herb is really good. So I got to slow down. I got some of this crazy coconut flavored dental floss. What do you guys know about that? I'm going to try it out. Got gifted that. I'm just going through my notebook. Like Dr. Bronner's. Like those bottles on Dr. Bronner's. Like I love Dr. Bronner's soap. They got some good eucalyptus. Dr. Bronner, he messes with eucalyptus. He messes with the cannabis. And it's always got this long ass written thing on the side. So you know he's such a pothead that he just rambles. Because it's nice to talk. And when you're passionate, And when cannabis first opens up your mind, I remember when it does, and it still does, but I do think you can get there without cannabis. Um, it's just opening your mind and opening your heart. And that's in the moment. And then trying to look at life with that beginner brain and not relying on all your like past or future endeavors, and just getting right down to the nitty grit. So the nitty grit is that I need you guys to come out to the show. You don't have to. I don't need anything, but I do think it's the tickets. I do know the tickets are selling, but February 20th, great lineup. Rob Cantrell, Super Friends, Joe Pera, Dina Hesham, Matt Koff, and myself. Very fun show. I got a beat machine coming, so look forward to that. We're going to get some more music. We're going to travel around. Check out the Patreon. You can watch all the videos of me smoking pot and drinking coffee and rambling just for you. I don't know anybody else doing this as consistent as I am. Some people are. There's definitely a lot of people in the weed lane, but I'm creating my own weed lane. It's just me and this iced coffee. I've been drawing a lot. I've been doodling a lot. I want to draw more. I went through a whole like adult coloring book phase, but now I want to get back into like free drawing. And then I got this ultimate set of fucking Sharpies. I literally got like 3,000 Sharpies. And I started drawing one the other day. I got a great open notebook, and it was such a fun thrill. So I'm going to do a little bit about that. I'll tell you more and more about my art, more about my stand-up, and more about the music. When I very first started, the vision I saw was stand-up with a little bit of music. And that's where I'm at. And a little bit of acting. Like, stand-up, comedy was there, stand-up was there, but I knew, like I would love to be on a show like Larry Sanders or any sitcom, is good, kind of fun, and also kind of gets your name out there so you could sell more comedy tickets. Because I love performing live. I love traveling. I love traveling and smoking pot and drinking coffee and listening to music and going to record stores and sleeping late in hotel rooms and walking around parks that I don't know with a nice iced coffee and a one-hitter. I mean, what's better than that? And with that, I'll have to say I love you guys. Thank you for liking and subscribing. No, why don't you like and subscribe? Please do that right now. But thank you for listening to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. And I'll catch you soon. I'll check in soon. Listen to us next week. More to come. Ya, ya, ya. Zen forever. 9,000.